Hey folks, welcome back to Honey Money SG. If I were to start my personal finance journey all over again in my 20s, what will I do again? I think this is a really relatable question, especially right now we are in the month of May. And that means if you're a college student, most likely you'll graduate by this month or next month. I remember I graduated like 7 years ago in 2015 as a new college grad. We call it fresh grad. And everything felt so surreal, because when you were a student, everything is planned out nicely for you. You do have timetables, you do have schedules, you do have exams, you do have to plan out study sessions, and you actually have a goal to work towards too, and that is getting good grades for your college. But what is the path that really lies ahead of you after you have graduated? Have you really thought about it before? And today, let's focus on the topic of personal finance, because when we are talking about personal finance, it may not really matter much to you as a student because you may be given allowances from your parents, or you don't even have much responsibilities to pay for. You don't talk of things like paying your bills, you don't talk of things of starting your own family, and even manage your own money for investments, for potential ventures, right? So let's talk about personal finance. I think a good starting point is how do people actually save their money or how they spend their money. And by the way, this will be a series, right? Because I don't think I can finish talking about everything in one video. And this is actually the stage 0 part. Before you even start to graduate, what are the things that you could do before you even go and take up your first job and earning your first paycheck? So let's start off with the basics, right? Spending and savings. Now, as a student, I'm sure you can relate to so many things that when you are a student, you probably don't have much money to spend on things because firstly, you don't have an income, and secondly, there are so many things that you cannot afford. And that's why there are so many student discounts, right? Especially in restaurants, fast food, in even membership clubs. They offer like a student rate because they know that students don't have the earning power or even income. So if they want to attract a student crowd, most likely they need to offer discounted tickets or offers. But do you realize that as a student, you can comfortably spend around $300 a month? Comfortably, and that means $10 a day because you have student meals, you have student discounts, and you don't even have much thing to pay for. So you notice this transition phase from a student to a full-fledged working adult. Now, if you can survive on $300 as a student yesterday, I'm pretty sure you can survive as a working adult with $300 the next day, right? So essentially, you do not have much changes to your spending habits, right? Because you want to keep the same spending habit as a student while earning a significant income boost from your first employment. And that kind of mindset is called avoiding lifestyle inflation, you see. As a working adult, you actually spend the same level of how you spend as a student, then you will significantly save more money than what you had as a student, right? Because now you have an income source, whereas your cost remains the same, your savings will actually increase, and that's the point of building your first pot of gold. So that's the first step, avoid lifestyle inflation, keep to your spending habits as a student before it's too late. But on the contrary, I do want to talk a little bit about the spending. Before you actually judge me, I'm going to tell you to actually spend your money before you even start your first job. Now, I'm not talking about recurring spend and routine spend like your food, your transportation, all this stuff. I'm talking about one-off spend because you really do want to have some fun after your graduation. I mean, you have studied all your life and it's absolutely okay to take out some money to have some fun, right? Go on some trips, go and travel with your friends, go and do something that you really like for a period of time before you even start your first job. And the reason is because once you begin your first job, you may begin on the hustling wheel. And that means you have to keep on fighting the rat race, climbing up the corporate ladder. And even if you do have the opportunity to take some annual vacation, those are really short term, right? If you really want to go on a backpacking trip, like 3 months in Southeast Asia, I don't think your company will allow you to do that. So really do take some time off after your exams. Maybe a 2 to 3 months break will be optimal. Anything longer, it will be a bit of stretch on your student finances. So I think around 3 months is a sweet spot. Go and travel to some countries with your friends, especially when you may not have the chance to go and get together after everyone is really busy with their lives or their work in future. So one more thing before you go for your graduation, right? I think one thing very important is to have an emergency fund. Emergency fund meaning like 6 months of your expenses to 1 year of your expenses. So example, if you spend like $300 as a student, then maybe you want to save around $1,800 in your bank first before you even go and do other things. And I think $1,800 is not difficult, right? 1 month of part-time job will net you around $1,800, or even some side hustles pay more than that. Because once you have your emergency fund, then at least you have a financial security net and you won't have situations where you see your bank balance going to zero or a few cents, and that sort of panic, because now you will do everything for money and anything for money. I think it's very important to have an emergency savings funds, and it kind of build up that habit, right? The savings habit that you will have, so that we can talk more about this in our future financial videos. Also, the next thing is actually protection. And in protection, I'm talking about insurance. So most likely at your age, you are really young, in your 20s, and hopefully you don't have any pre-existing medical conditions that disallow you to buy insurance. So only two insurance that I recommend. Number one is term insurance. That means if you actually pass away, your beneficiaries will actually get a lump sum payment for your death. Now that is to help them tide over any kind of financial obligations that may arise. And imagine if your parents raised you up all these years to become a full-fledged working adult, and suddenly you leave this world with nothing. I think it will be quite unfortunate for the family as well. So very important, get your term insurance. You can even do that before you graduate. I think the premiums are around $10 to $20 if you're really that young. That is per month of insurance premiums. Also, that depends on how much is your life insured for. Now, the second essential insurance that you need is actually the hospitalization and medical insurance plan. And in Singapore, we call this the integrated shield plan. Essentially, this integrated shield plan or hospitalization insurance will help you decrease the cost if you're admitted into the hospital, or if you need to undergo some critical surgeries to actually help you get back to a good physical condition. Because you know that medical bills in Singapore are so expensive, and most likely, if you are not in a good financial state, you most likely cannot afford the very expensive medical bills. So this kind of medical insurance will help you offset some of those financial liabilities that may arise if you are warded in the hospital. And the premiums for that age in 20s is not too expensive as well, probably less than $1,000 a year. I mean, if you compare that to a rate of being warded in the hospital, I think per night you pay around $300. Then this $1,000 a year, I think is quite a reasonable cost to pay, right, as a form of insurance. Okay, next up, I want to talk about debt. And that mainly means borrowings. So most likely at your age, you don't have much liabilities. I don't think you need to go and borrow money for anything. If you're buying a car and you need to borrow money, I don't think that's a wise decision at your age. Unless you have really rich parents that can help you afford the car, right? Or you run a business that you need a car to help you improve your business and your sales, then I think that would be reasonable. Or otherwise, if you're taking a housing loan to secure your first public housing with your partner, then I think that's reasonable too. But do not take loans for renovation, because those are really high interest debts and those are considered bad debts. But if you're fortunate enough to know your partner early enough and most likely you got your BTO by now, then congratulations, because housing loan is actually a good debt to have. So we'll talk more about housing in the future videos, but this time I do want to encourage you to go and sign up for stockbrokers. Why? Because you can get free money. You know, we do have a lot of brokers here in Singapore like uSMART, Moomoo and Tiger, offering really good sign-up gifts. So if you have not signed up for one account yet, do go and sign up for your stockbrokers account with 3 of them and go and deposit some cash. You don't even have to do much. I think there's no risk in there. Deposit some money, maybe trade a few trades, and then fulfill the conditions. You get some free stocks and even up to one Tesla share, which is worth around $900 to $1,000. Also, when you're still a student, if you really want to build some credit card history, I would recommend you to get a student credit card. But in particularly, you need to get the Maybank eVibes credit card. And why is that so? Is because if you actually register a credit card, you will not be considered a new customer when you want to apply for a future credit card when you have an income. So as a student, you actually want to apply for a credit card with a bank that do not offer very good sign-up gifts as a student. So I think Maybank eVibes fit the bill, because if we are talking about DBS cards, Citi cards, or even CIMB cards, those offer quite good sign-up gifts via my SingSaver links below. So really, if you want to build your credit history, just get the Maybank eVibes card. I think when I got it, it was like 1% cashback. Not too bad also. Then one more freebie you could get is signing up with Revolut, because Revolut gives you 20% off your public transport. I don't know when it will end, but so far the campaign has been extending indefinitely. And you can also refer your friends to Revolut, right, to get some of those nice sign-up gifts as a referral. One more thing on your mobile phone you can do is to sign up for those shopping mall apps like Lendlease or Capital Star, because not only these kind of shopping apps gives you some points, reward points for your shopping purchases when you scan their receipts, but sometimes they also do offer discounts if you buy their mall vouchers in the form of e-vouchers. So they give you like $5 more, $10 more, or even cashback if you buy those vouchers. And I think these kind of promotions are really low-hanging fruits, right? Not much effort to do so. And you can even sign up for a shopback account too, so that you can get some nice cashback when you are buying into such stuff online. So I think that's all about it as a student before you graduate. Here are some things that you can do to take charge of your personal finance, mainly centered around spending and savings. I have not talked into all those things like investing, your job, your employment, or even business, right? Because all those things are really advanced, too difficult for a student to comprehend. So following my channel, in the future, I will talk more about the ESBI, right? Employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor mindset. Your rich dad, poor dad vibes, you know. So do subscribe and stay tuned for that, right? And also, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, the stockbrokers thing, then kindly refer to this video where I talk about how you can actually get free money from signing up with stockbrokers in Singapore. With that, thank you for watching. My name is Christopher. This is Honey Money SG, steering young adults to financial independence.